Hello, back with another Path of Exile 2 video. As you can see, we are a Gemling Legionnaire. GGG have honestly cooked when it comes to this Ascendancy. The extra quality from skills, the changes to the Ascendancy and how it affects the overall skills, it makes this build very, very versatile. So let's jump in, discuss what I'm building. Obviously you can see by the thumbnail it's Twisters, and what I've done. Yeah, so we're level 93. We've got 76 strength, 143 dexterity, and 122 intelligence, 5,155 energy shield, 1,564 life, 52% armor, 40 evasion, 215 spirit, and we're pretty much capped at all resistances. I am working on cold and chaos. I just need some new boots, and then we'll be fully capped. Fire overcapped by miles. I've got a bit of deflection as well, only 20% though, so it's not a lot. I am working on that as well, but it's 40% when I'm in my weapon set 1. So let's go through the skills. With the new Ascendancy to Gemling, it has a passive node that grants an additional effect to the skills that we have. So I'll explain the skills and then obviously I'll go over the additional effect as well. We've got Purity of Fire and Virtuous Barrier. So Virtuous Barrier is from the Ascendancy. This just basically gives you more evasion, armor, and energy shield per dexterity, more life per strength, and more life and mana regen per intelligence. If you get hit, you lose the motes, so that's why you want to try and stack as much evasion as you can do. Purity of Fire is from the weapon, it's from the Sacred Flame, so this is giving me 53% extra fire damage, and it treats it as their lowest resistance. We've got that with Vitality, Clarity, Cannibalism, and Dire Strike. Every single thing that's in here does not count towards your spirit cost. Okay, so you can have a large amount of spirit cost in there, and then all these buffs are active. Whirling Slash. Whirling Slash is our movement ability, so that enables us to move around like this. And then when you pop your Twisters, you pop your Twisters. We have that with Rapid Attacks free, Rage free, Knockback, Blind, and Magnified Area. We roughly sit at around 7.04 attacks per second. It's between 6 and 7 attacks per second. The additional effect with a Gemling Legionnaire, this is what makes it really, really good, is it gives me a 15% more attack speed. I haven't even got this fully buffed yet. I can get an extra 5% quality to the skills, and then I can get another extra 5% quality to skills, so I can get an extra 10% quality to the skills, so I can even make this even faster. But remember, more is better than increased, so it's got 15% more attack speed. Then we'll go to Twister. We've got Twister with Projectile Acceleration free, Blindside, Salvo, Efficiency, and Rakiata's Flow. I am tempted to just take Efficiency off because it only costs 69 mana, and put on my Elemental Armament, which puts my Twisters to quite a decent damage, again for how much I've spent on the build. The most expensive item in here, if you're not including my Spear, is Rakiata's Flow. And then again, the Ascendancy. This gives you a 31% more projectile speed. And I can add this and make this even faster. So I can spin faster, I can do more projectile speed, so my projectiles will be faster. Yeah, the Gemling is very, very good. Then we go Glacial Lance. Glacial Lance is there to apply freeze or cold in general. We've got this with more cold freeze build-up. We've got this with 390%. This pairs with Combat Frenzy, which allows me to gain power charges in case I run out of them here. So we've got this with Rapid Attacks 2, Elemental Armament, Freeze, Projectile Acceleration free, and then Perpetual Charge. The Ascendancy for this, or the extra, is chance not to remove power charges, so that means that I have an 83% chance not to remove a charge on Glacial Lance. Pair that with Paragon and pair that with skills, quality 2 skills on your Amulet, because you can get +5 to skills, and then pair that with the 15% chance not to remove charges on consuming them. You can get Glacial Lance to have 100, and I think it's about 105% chance not to remove power charges. So again, very, very good. Sniper's Mark. We've got Sniper's Mark again for us to get the Frenzy Charge on bosses, just in case we have run out of Frenzy Charge here and we don't want to wait for 5 seconds. This will give us a Frenzy Charge. We've got Charge Mark, Charge Perfusion 2, Cooldown Recovery, and then Efficiency, because it does actually cost quite a lot of mana. It's 123 mana, whereas with Efficiency it's only 75. But we might change that. I might put something else on that. Oh, Sniper's Mark Extra is they deal 15% less damage, so again, you're going to become more tanky. Barrage, this allows you to repeat your attacks, so when I spin like this is how many twisters I get, whereas if I spin again and build up the whirlwind, put my barrage on, and then twist, that's how many twisters I get. You can also put prolonged duration on your twisters if you want them to last longer. So we've got this with heightened charges for benefits of consuming a charge to be doubled. Ideally as well, you can put that into Sniper's Mark, because remember Sniper's Mark gives you increased critical damage bonus, so you can get a chance to double it. Uhtred's Constellation, basically this gives you less cooldown recovery rate, but you have the chance to use it 2 extra times, so that's why it's got the 3 down here. We've got cooldown recovery 2 for more, well, increased recovery rate, efficiency for less cost, because without it, it does cost a lot of mana, especially when you're using it quite often, and then perpetual charge for a chance not to remove a charge. So again, as you can see, it's sat at 83%. The cooldown is 2.63 seconds. The benefits for this is, again, chance not to remove power charges. Trinity is very, very good if you can make sure that you are filling all 3 elementals. I'm currently struggling with lightning, so hopefully I can kind of work that round. I've got fire and ice, but lightning takes a little bit to fill up. If you are struggling, play around with your elements, maybe add some more lightning damage somewhere else, or add some more fire damage somewhere else, etc. And then you want to aim to get all 3 of them filled up, because you get a 23% increased skill speed, well, it's over 250, and then again you get more damage per 30 affinity of any type. With the ascendancy of the Gemling, this gives you 31% of physical damage is converted to a random element, so that's pretty good. And then I've got this with Cold Mastery to give me +1 to cold support skills, so this basically is just to level up my Trinity. Herald of Ice, we've got this with Elemental Armament, Blind, Armor Break, Armor Explosion, and Uric Smelting. So this is to give, basically to give me endurance charges, and then Herald of Ice buff grants increased cold damage. Combat Frenzy, we got this with Charge Perfusion 2, so basically this gives me a charge whenever I freeze, electrocute, or pin. I am working on a way to add pin to the build as well. I'm just figuring out what I need to remove, or where I could maybe add an extra, like an unset ring, and kind of keep everything there. I need a little bit more mana. Sorry, I need a little bit more spirit. I need 230 spirit, but currently these with any spirit higher than 120 they're expensive. They're stupidly expensive, and I'm poor. So with Combat Frenzy, this basically reduces the delay of getting a charge. Remember, this was one of the downsides that GGG did when they nerfed Combat Frenzy. So instead of it being like 7 point something, it's 6.1. And then Charge Regulation, this gives you more critical hit chance, more armor evasion, and increased skill speed whenever you have these frenzy charges, or power charges, or endurance charges. So as you can see here, I've just got a power charge, so that means that I should have a more crit chance. So my crit chance is 27%. If you have the money, throw Garakon's Resolve in here, okay? Drop Elemental Armament or Blindside, put Garakon's Resolve in, and you'll see your damage skyrocket. It's crazy. And the buffs for this is 3% increased damage per charge. Okay, so currently I've got 5 charges, so that means I'm getting a 15% increased damage. Right, let's go through the gear. We are utilizing weapon set 1 and weapon set 2 swaps. On weapon set 1, the best thing to get is just get a Sky Silver. You want to try and get 30%. I threw, I think it was like 2 or 3 divines at it just to get 30% attack speed. And basically, this allows you to move faster. You can get this over, I'm pretty sure you could probably get to around about 9, maybe 10 attacks per second, which means you're going to be absolutely rapid. We've got a helmet with 453 evasion, and this has got some crit chance, lightning resistance, life, etc. I do want to corrupt this. Ideally, I want to throw Paragon in it, which will give me basically extra quality to my skills, which will then make my skills be better. But I don't have the Raven Shard yet. We've got a amulet. I picked up this for relatively cheap with +3 to projectile skills, and then it's just got like evasion, armor, and energy shield. Again, it was a failed craft to someone, as you can see. And we got this with Thaumaturgic Dynamism. I think that's how you pronounce it. But basically, this gives me a charge every 5 seconds. Then we're running the Taming Prismatic Ring. This is just basically gives you elemental resistances, increases your damage for each ailment on the enemy, and it basically causes any wind skill to be boosted by an elemental ground surface. So this causes, when I do Whirling Slash, as you can see, it gives these buffs around it, and then it gives it all to my Twisters. Then we've just got a ring. This is just a ring I crafted. So it's with flat lightning, flat physical, some rarity, some strength, some lightning resistance, and some cold resistance. It can be better. I can get a better ring. I don't need fire resistance. As you can see, I still have 63% fire resistance on there, if even without the ring. But I do need it because I'm missing some strength. Then we have a Morio Invictus. This is the build definer / changer. So I've gone for one with increased armor and evasion energy shield, plus 13 chaos resistance per socket filled. Hits against you have reduced critical damage bonus, and then increased global armor, evasion, and energy shield. You can get one where you get resistances are increased per socket filled. So you can get a quite significant amount of resistances just from your armor, which means that then you can drop resistances on your other gear, which means effectively your other gear will become cheaper. I have got this with the Rune of Warding, which reduces the effect of curses, the Idol of Aramir, which basically gives me a chance not to remove charges again, Fox Idol, which basically causes the bonded items. So as you can see here where it says bonded, 15% for charms not to use it, plus 5% quality of skills. So they're very, very good. And then I've got Tekrod's Gaze, which basically regenerates my life per second. And then Rune of Foundations, which gives me some armor, evasion, and maximum energy shield. Then we've got an Ingenuity Belt with just some lightning resistance and with energy shield, and then we've got fire, cold resistance, and a chance not to remove charges and consuming them. You need to roll Chronomancer modifiers. Then we've got some gloves with flat lightning to attacks, projectile speed, fire resistance, leech some mana, damages mana, +1 to projectile skills, you can get +2, and then evasion rating. And then I've got this socketed with the maximum skills, the Idol of Sirius for more attack speed, and then the Idol of Kraton for the chance to gain a frenzy charge when you get an additional one. We do have a rite of passage, and we just got for the Spirit of the Owl. I'm currently just borrowing this off my friend to see if it works. If it works, I'm gonna buy it off him. If it doesn't, yeah, I'm just gonna give it back. And then we've got this with Breath of the Mountains and the Nascent Hope. This is to obviously stop us freezing and stuff like that. We've got Lavingian's Spirit. Basically, this gives you the mana each time, and just a normal flask. As I mentioned before, the Sacred Flame, we've got this with increased spirit in the socket, and this basically gives me extra fire damage, and it puts their elemental damage based on the lowest resistance. And then finally, we've got a Spear, which gives me increased physical damage, crit chance, attack speed, leeches some physical damage as mana, adds 58 to 93 fire damage, and adds physical damage. I picked this up for around about 69 divine, and then I just threw 2 quality modifiers in it. So it's pretty decent, and we've got that socketed with 50% increased damage as res. You can get better, obviously. The more currency you have, the more that this build is going to increase. Right, on to the passive skills. So, firstly, this couldn't have been done without taking the split personality ruby. So this basically allows you to allocate passive points starting from a different point in the tree. So I have gone for Shadow to make most of like crit and stuff like that. You can also get it to start from Ranger, but there's a lot of projectile damage here, which is good, but it's a lot of pretty much, let's say, dead points. Okay, so we'll go with the Ascendancy first, and then we'll go into what I've kind of took, and then what I plan to take moving forward. So we've gone and taken Virtuous Barrier. As I said before, Virtuous Barrier is the one that gives you increased armor, evasion, energy shield, life regeneration, mana regeneration, etc. based on how many how many attributes you have. Then, obviously, they've got the skill quality. There's 3 bits here because there's an extra 6% quality of skills. Then we've taken Motoric Implants. This obviously gives me +2 to all levels with a dexterity requirement. So this is how I'm able to get an extra +2 on like my Whirling Slash, etc. Advanced Thaumaturgy. I probably butchered that, I do apologise. But again, this is the one that gives you an additional effect. And then finally, we have gone and taken Gem Studded, which basically means I have less critical damage bonus hits against me. My skills have 30% less cost, and then I have 40% less movement speed penalty when using a skill. You can also take adaptive capability, which obviously goes off your highest attribute, so you don't have to worry about any attributes. If you don't want to take the meteoric implants, you can take the integrated efficiency, which basically gives you increased damage per connected red socket, increased skill speed per green, and increased critical hit chance per blue. Okay, so if you stack red, 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 okay, you're going to get 20% increased damage for each one. If you stack green, 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 or red, green, blue, you're going to get an extra 20% increased damage, an extra 6% skill speed, and an extra 20% critical hit chance. So, I've gone and taken Mindful Awareness and Flow State. These give me skill speed, evasion, and energy shield. Then we move up on weapon set 2. So weapon set 2 is my one that's got Twister and stuff like that. That's the green one. I have taken concussive attacks. Then we have gone and taken a controlled metamorphosis diamond. I don't know why it's like put like that, but we've got the one with minus 11% to all resistances. And then in this diamond on weapon set 2, we've gone and taken distracted target for critical hit chance against blinded enemies. Remember, we do blind. We've got Kite Runner, Chakra of Thought for more mana before life and increased attack speed. These two for dexterity, intelligence, and critical hit chance and critical damage bonus. Dizzying Sweep for more attack area and increased attack area damage. And then conservative casting for basically cost efficiency. That's why like my Twister is able to cost 83 mana and stuff like that. Then we go up and we've gone right up here. We've got Thin Ice for more damage, or increased damage against frozen enemies. So we'd freeze them with either Twisters or with Glacial Lance, and then that would give us a 50% increased damage. And we have gone and taken a Frenzied Bear and Winter Owl. So Frenzied Bear gives me 30% increased damage if I consume the Frenzy Charge, and 10% skill speed if I consume the Frenzy Charge. It gives me some strength. And then Winter Owl gives me 3% increased evasion per 10 intelligence, and again accuracy equal to my intelligence, and then I gain plus 10 to intelligence. So realistically, I could probably drop Finesse. Then we move round and we've taken the new nodes that are here. So we've got First Principle of Hollow for increased evasion, energy shield, cold resistance, and lightning resistance. First Teachings of the Keeper for fire resistance, chaos resistance, deflection, and faster energy shield recharge rate. And then Hollow Keeper, which gives you reduced effective curses. Pair that with the Runic Warding, which means that Temporal Chains doesn't slow you down. Come down here, we've got a Heart of the Well with extra cold damage, critical hit chance, extra chaos damage, and then ailment threshold equal to energy shield. You can get better than this. Like I said, go for critical damage bonus or cold and lightning or something. Okay, this is just something I bought for next to nothing. They're quite cheap. Then we've got the Fable Stag for increased duration of endurance, frenzy, and power charge, and then again it has a chance not to remove them. And I've gone and taken dexterity here. You can take the 15% if you want to, if you're not struggling for attributes. Weapon set 2, we're going to take Heart Stopping, Struck Through, and Heart Breaking, all for crit chance. Enhanced Reflexes for 20% evasion rating, and then gain deflection, and then we've got 8% dexterity. We've also gone and taken a Favor for maximum frenzy charges. Then we move down and we take and train deflection for prevent 6% damage from deflective hits. Around here to take Maiming Strike for increased damage, and they have a chance to maim. Remember, maiming means that they have slower movement and they have reduced evasion rating, so it means there's a lot more chance of hitting them. Around here to take a From Nothing, which allows me to put all the stuff in from Dance with Death. And then up here for Precision Salvo for projectile speed, attack speed, and increased accuracy rating. On weapon set 1, as you can see, we've got Stimulants, which gives me increased attack speed during any flask effect. Then we come around here and we've got Wildcat and Acceleration. These give me deflection, and they also give me movement speed and skill speed. Then we've got Precision Point or Precise Point and Roll and Strike. These give me damage for spears and accuracy as well, so these are very, very good, and attack speed. On weapon set 2, we've got all these, which is basically melee damage while surrounded, and you've got increased projectile damage when there's no enemies within 3 meters, so that'll kill all the enemies that are around. And then critical damage bonus. The reason why I am taking a lot of crit is because I want to take Garricon's Resolve. Okay, I am saving up, I'm trying to get it, I'm running to try and drop it, because then Garricon's Resolve will put my crit chance at 50%. I can scale some crit, which means that my Twister damage will increase significantly. Then we're going to go with Falcon Dive, which gives me attack speed per 400 accuracy. Remember, I've got quite a lot of accuracy, Come down here to obviously take the split personality. I forgot we've got standing deliver, which gives me critical damage bonus within 2 meters. And then, again, damage with hits against enemies within 2 meters. I gain increased damage. And then up here, we've got Crystal Elixir, which is 40% elemental damage during the Flask effect. Remember, Flask effect. And then finally, we've got Multitasking, which is skill effect duration and increased cooldown recovery rate. So we want the cooldown rate to be as quick as possible. The quicker we can get the cooldown down, the more we can use Barrage. And then finally, I totally forgot to say it, but we're also taking Dance with Death, which gives us 25% more skill speed while offhand is empty. And remember, in our weapon set 1, we do not have anything offhand, which allows us to move really, really fast. So that has been the skill tree. It's a very, very good build. It's tanky. It clears very, very well. The only downside is obviously Twisters. When it comes to like a big open area bosses, it does struggle a little bit. But the fact that you can use free barrages and create basically a world, a giant area of Twisters, pretty much wipes out most of them. You've got constant frenzy charge sustain. You've got even more frenzy charge sustain with Sniper's Mark and Combat Frenzy. As long as you can keep these frenzy charges, like I say, if you throw some currency into it to get barrage to 100% not to remove a frenzy charge, then the only thing that's effectively removing frenzy charges is your charge regulation. And when it removes a frenzy charge, it gives you skill speed. So it's very, very, very good. It's a very versatile build. It will continue to be improving. I am enjoying it a lot more than my monk. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe, and peace.